I'm going to throw over to another question from Harry.
Yeah.
So Harry's asking you, he's going photographing weddings. You have different location scenarios, both interior and exterior. What techniques or tricks have you learned from your experience in these areas?
Well, it can vary. There's not one fix for one situation. And one thing that you do know about weddings is that you got to get it done pretty quickly. So, firstly, I would not overcomplicate a wedding shoot. I would rather look to be more on the simple side than complicated side because you could spend too long trying to get one shot right, and then you don't get the variation that actually builds the wedding portfolio. So, a lot of wedding photographers, like I've done myself, I've shown you some photos, but a lot of people build a portfolio on Instagram or whatever, and it's showing you all their couple shoots, which are heavily edited photos and done everything. But the true test of a wedding photographer is the full portfolio. It's the whole thing. So you've got to get strong at your natural light shooting. You've got to be very good. And a lot of photography is your ears, actually. You've got to listen because you're going to get shots just by using your ears. Because if you're shooting this way and you're listening here, you can pick up something that's happening there and you can turn and get a moment that could define the whole portfolio. It might be a moment between the two moms or the dad and the mom or something. So it's not just that epic shot of the mountain with the sun going down. That's not necessarily wedding photography in its total. It's a combination of getting a lot of things. So understand your flash work. You've got to get your flash work. I know a lot of people should say, no, you can do the whole thing in natural light. I disagree, but we all got our different styles. But like for me, it's important that I'm not losing detail in the shot. So one aspect is that a lot of my shots are slightly underexposed when I'm doing landscapes and outdoor stuff. And by underexposing, you're naturally bringing more contrast and sort of drama to the scene. So your sunsets look more intense. Your colors kind of get slightly more intense by being slightly underexposed. Those different aspects. And then you fill with the flash. So you're concentrating on two effective exposures in one type of thing. You first get your ambience right, then you bring in your full. And then understanding as well is your settings on your camera that both aperture and shutter speed are what you call, aperture and ISO are what you call a global adjustment. And understand that shutter is a local adjustment. So if you're trying to increase power of flash, not only is the power of the flash can be adjusted, but by opening up your aperture and by increasing your ISO, your flash power is going up in the scene as well. But your shutter doesn't affect the flash. Your shutter is controlling that ambience. So it's understanding that sort of relationship that you can get your flash right, your aperture right, your ISO right. And all you got to do is make adjustments to your shutter, and that's just dropping and raising your ambience while your flash remains exactly the same. So that's one aspect. Going indoors, a lot of the time, I don't want to overcomplicate it. I could literally just bounce my off-camera flash up against the roof and light the whole room to give it equal lighting. And then in post, maybe do a little bit of a vignette or a dodge and burn, but I've got to get really good lighting across. But you can do light behind them, get that rim effect. You can do a whole range of things. So there's no real one answer to anything. But the more you experiment, and you can do this with shoots outside of weddings, you can learn little things. Then, like if you just suddenly stuck for creativity, just bring in one of those elements, and it might just spark another one. And then next thing you know, you're flying. It works out.
Fantastic. I think, yeah, that's great advice. I mean, like you said, each photographer has different styles. I know one of the benefits of the kind of gear that you're using is that it's a little bit more mobile than, say, some of the traditional DSLRs out there. I mean, being mirrorless. So you're probably able to move around with speed lights a bit more, even just lighter kind of lighting gear. Um,
Yeah.
so I want to open it up to the students. I have a question from Sade. She's asking any advice for students getting out into industry day one, meaning like they finished studying or they finished whatever they're doing now, and they got to get out there. After John answers this question, I'd very much like any students to actually ask John directly, so you can open up your mic and feel free to ask John directly. So, John, here it is from the horse's
Sure.
mouth. Advice for
Yeah.
these young men and women going out there.
Yeah, I don't want to say there's like a one size fit all because
Mm.
that would be unfair. Like it's easy for me to say because I'm 20 something years into my career how to go about it. We live in a different world. There might be less challenges in some ways. There might be more challenges in other ways. But there's basic principles you've got to keep to. You've got to understand that discipline and like things that are not even photography related are actually key elements here. it's your interpersonal skills are probably the most number one thing you can do. You can be the best photographer on the planet, and trust me, just a reality check is that we are a dime a dozen. There's nothing special about us. That's number one. But if you can work on your personal skills, you can actually interact with people, not in a fake way, actually, and not only be a good person with people as best as you can, but actually follow through with your work. Meaning, when they say hand over, or they say, "Can you do this?" You're honest first of all whether you can and can't. You secondly are handing over on time. You're meeting deadlines. You are not going to say, "Well, I refuse to change it because that's the way I do it." You've got to bear in mind that you're also not only just a photographer, you have a business. And the same business aspects that other people have to do in other businesses are really pretty much the same in photography. So get your personal skills up and running and be flexible and humble. And I'd say discipline. Like, discipline is massive, massive, massive. So, like, for me, it's so easy. I could just sit there and go, "Oh, I'll just leave editing for tonight." No, because I know what that means if I leave it today, what it's going to mean for me tomorrow and then ultimately one client's going to get it in the, they're going to suffer down the line because I've let the snowball and then I lose that client. So when you're building, just build on the solid foundation of principles that are pretty much found in most businesses, and then go from there, and then just bring your skill in and learn. And use the social media. Like, I do use it to some degree. I do. My thing is more YouTube. I've got a YouTube channel, and it's got a reasonable amount of followers, nothing major, but that's the way I should share. And from that, I get people that are interested in my work, and Instagram to a lesser degree. So just work on those. Discipline means freedom. So, like, if you can be disciplined, you actually free up. You actually create freedom for yourself. Believe it or not, people think discipline is not freedom. It actually, being disciplined gives you freedom in your life, and freedom allows creativity so that you can grow. So those are the kind of things that I mentioned.
John, would you mind letting us know what your YouTube channel name is?
It's just John Armstrong Photography, and it's on YouTube. John Armstrong Photography.
Fantastic. Yeah. John Armstrong Photography.
Actually, and on there, I do reviews for Fuji film as well. I try, obviously, to be as honest as I always can. I show setups that I do. But also another aspect of it is that I've actually got a couple of tutorials, and one of them is exposure settings, and I talk about full frame and APS-C, which are recent ones. A couple of things, so just you can go check it out.
Fantastic. I got another question for you. By the way, Sade says, thank you very much. That was very insightful. So a question from Ryan. His question is wedding photography the top paying level of photography? If basically what he's asking is, if one had to choose a kind of a genre of photography to have a reasonable good income, what would it be? Consistency.
Wedding photography is not going to pay you the most. It's not going to pay you the least, but it's going to be the most consistent if you can break into the industry. So if you can develop a clientele that repeats itself, you can know up to a year in advance what your income is at some stages. 6 months to a year. Now, other photographers don't have that luxury. So that gives you peace of mind, and you don't live every month wondering where your next paycheck's going to come from. What's the saying? They say that philosophy in photography is a bit like a large pizza, except a large pizza can feed a family of 4, that kind of thing. You know what I mean? You've got to understand, like, wedding photography allows that, but it also is seasonal. Like, as you get older, you may lose track of what's relevant and popular, and a lot of brides and groomsmen are actually swayed by what's going on outside. Like, they want this and you can't offer that anymore because you moved on a bit. So you've got to understand that, yes, you can get into it and it can give you 10, 15 years, but there'll be a stage where your amount of clientele might start to drop just because of who you are and you haven't really evolved. So you've got to be prepared at some stage in the wedding career to sort of diversify and to give you longevity. But that is a solid form of income, I would say that, but it will kill you. You'll pay the price for it, but some people are prepared to pay the price because that gives you sanity and money. Now, I've got friends who are in other aspects in photography. I've got friends who do big sort of commercial jobs. They can get 40,000 rand a shoot, 50,000 rand a shoot, 100,000 rand a shoot, 150,000 rand a shoot, whatever it is. But I've had those guys over time, like, they're big earners. They'll come to me in the office, like, when it's quiet, when South Africa's no longer getting these international shoots, and they say, "John, can I second shoot for you at the wedding this weekend?" And it's like, here's a guy who's earning way more money than me. He's coming to me and asking me, can he second shoots? Because he just needs $2,000 for the day or $1,000 for the day, whatever it is. So it's not easy out there. But yeah, weddings is a way. But if you can diversify, so like keep to portraiture if that's what you want to do, but humble yourself to the point where you're willing to do family shoots in a park or at the beach, weddings, and just mix it up a bit. And just so that you got a spread of everything, and that'll give you a little bit more peace of mind.
Awesome. Thanks, John. I think that's great advice. I mean, I think diversification is always key to survival. You see it in the business world and the natural world. The higher certificate students, they're going 1 year, and then they have to kind of do a portfolio. Do they do weddings? Do they do car shoots? So that's quite helpful. And some of the things that you spoke about now, I discussed briefly with the third years. In terms of, forecasting your business plan, understanding how much income you might have, that kind of thing. I'm going to bring it back a little bit tech at the moment. So one of the questions was, are you shooting on the mirrorless medium format? Do you have a preference for the type of gear that you like to shoot on, specifically maybe for the genre that you're shooting? Can you give us some insight there?
Yeah, sure. I actually shoot on both the X series, which is the APS-C cameras, and I shoot on the 50R from time to time. Now, the 50R is actually capable of shooting actually most of the things that I do, but not necessarily always something I need to use in situations. I'm not going to shoot a wedding on a 50R, even though you could. I just think it's overkill, and you want to speed up the process. You want to make it light. I mean, I'm on my feet for 14 hours at a big do. The X series cameras are amazing, and which is part of the reason why I left the previous brand that I was with sort of bigger 35mm sensor with primes, big primes. I had the 1635, I had the 35-1.4, I had the 50-1.2, I had the 85-1.2, and I had the 135 f2, and I shot weddings like that. But with two bodies, those lenses, it takes its toll on you over time. So one of the reasons why I went over is that once a smaller sensor and a particularly mirrors, because not only is the sensor determining the size of the camera, it's actually the fact that they've got rid of the whole mirror sort of mechanism within the camera. So they've reduced the size. So as long as those cameras met what I needed, then I was willing to make that change. Yes. And when that happened, I make the change. So I carry that. It's a lot lighter. So most of the jobs X series, but I do go out. Like I've shot athletes before where I've got more. So I'm in an environment where people aren't running or moving quickly, which the X series will be better at. So I'll still bring it with me on the shoot, but the 50R, for example, the medium format. If I'm doing one setup where I'm getting someone to hit a ball and create some drama and stuff like that, that's just incredible. I mean, the quality on those cameras is just unbelievable. But there's understand the reasoning for why you're buying something. Like, look at the end product. Because the reality is, and you've got to sometimes detach yourself from your own needs and sort of wants and lusts, is that the viewing world may not even see that benefit. Only you do. Like, it's one thing sitting in front of your computer screen going, wow, that's incredible. I can see every single pixel. You've got to understand what your client's seeing is that, I mean, most of your clients are viewing the wedding photos on their phones. So, like, like from a depth of field perspective, maybe, but the X series offers me 1.2 primes, 1.4 primes. So I'm still getting a sort of out of focus area because that's kind of the drama that's needed in some of these portraits. So just understand what you're shooting and work accordingly. But I use both systems, but the majority of the time I use the X series. Awesome. Which is the XT4, which I've currently got with me. Sorry, I didn't actually have it right next to me, but I'm actually testing. Luckily, I got it on lockdown, so I have it for a review, which I've done already. You can see it on my YouTube channel. But the XT3 is what I got in my bag before they released the XT4, and I also love the X Pro. So, like, if you are just photography and don't do a little bit of video or a lot of video, consider the X Pro. That's an amazing camera. I love that camera, or the XT range as well.
Excellent, John. I'm going to bring in Hein now. So I'd like to get both of you in conversation, just in terms of. So while Hein jumps in on the conversation, I think right now photographers are being tasked with video and stills. So. Yes. Are you actually also having to do a little bit of that? Is that part of the briefings that you get nowadays?
Yes, I can see clearly last year a lot of videographers came to us, moving over from other systems video is definitely stepping up into the market. And that's why Fujifilm also joined the video market, especially in the X8 range and also the XT range. So yes, no, definitely comes in.
Awesome. So, guys, we're busy talking about industry as well. Maybe like a very now question would be after lockdown, the president spoke to us yesterday. What's the game plan for creatives now after lockdown? What are your thoughts on that, John, and then Hein?
Yeah, it's a bit concerning. Unfortunately, we're not considered essential service providers in any way. There's nothing essential about us, so we're pretty disposable. So it's been tough. Like a lot of these, besides the fact that I've been pushing out videos to try and just keep relevant and creative, and I'm doing shoots here at home as well to some degree, they're not making me money. So a large part of my day is working out moving forward. So I've got to keep marketing. I can't stop marketing. I've got to keep doing that as a big part of it, because at some stage we're going to open up again and I want to be relevant. It's a tough question. To be honest, I don't have a definitive answer. But when you are doing well, if you, as a photographer, for those students listening, don't just go blow money that you've made. Form a bit of a nest egg, because we're not on that high priority list when it comes to essential or anything. I mean, for myself, even looking at these programs now being put in place to help sole proprietors and businesses, if you go look at all the information, I'm not really qualified. I'm not really in a position. I'm not one of the. I don't fit the criteria to go claim any financial assistance, even if that's what I wanted to do. So keep relevant, and maybe. I don't like to say this because I love my country, but maybe look to try and tap into an overseas market, even if it's through sales of prints or something, just to diversify even further than just shooting. Like if you've got a collection of images, maybe try and get them out there into the world, because I can see other parts of the world coming online quicker than we can. I see America. America's not the type of place to sit around and do what we do. They'll open up soon because business is very important to them. So maybe find a way of tapping into their economy.
Okay, thank you for that insight. Hein, thoughts?
Man, I would like to say the same as John, but I would like to add something. There is definitely diverse your photography. See if you can get some landscapes. Some cityscapes, that sort of thing, that you can sell online your photographs and make some money online overseas. That's very important. We've got some other photographers that's really big in there, and they're still busy selling and making money in that sort of scenario. The other thing is, when you can't shoot, definitely there's time to market yourself. So get yourself on online media, get yourself a YouTube account. Create videos, create photography, share with people, broader that side of your photography, definitely. And then thirdly, I will say I see a lot of people will start opening up studios at home, where you can't go out to big events and big functions to go and shoot. I see that people is going to photographers is going to invite their clientele in their homes, family shoots, fashion shoots, and that sort of thing. So set up a studio in your house and get your clients in your house to start getting and earning some money there.
Cool. I think that's such good advice from both of you. I know it's a very real moment that we're having, so I really appreciate your honesty. Gareth, I know you're on the line. Mr. Bevan, I don't know if you have any thoughts, even Rudy. So while there maybe there.
I think one thing I can say that and that both echo this, the diversity in your work, and what he was referring to. I also used to shoot a lot of weddings, and now what happens is the bride and groom are very, very young, and they're not into having a almost 50-year-old shoot their wedding because your style doesn't work with them. They're into different trends. So that's also important. So often what happens, wedding photographers stay in the industry and they lose clients. They're not losing the clients on purpose. They're just losing it because they're growing older. And the younger generation of 21-year-olds want to be shot with a 21-year-old. And that's the reason why one has to diverse once that work starts to dry up. Otherwise, you're going to get stuck. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks,
Thank you.
Gareth. So I think let's talk a little bit about Hein. Hein, you got cut off there in terms of maybe
Yes.
what you were going to mention earlier at the beginning of the session.
Yeah.
And while you're talking, John, if you have any further insights that you'd like to add, please feel free to jump in. These students they're very excited to hear from you. Thank you for the marketing answer there. Claudia basically asked, how do you market yourself? I think that was answered in terms of YouTube and Instagram.
Well, just to add to that, Mark.
Yes. So, John,
you've got to go back to personal relationships. You know, people are on lockdown now, but we're not going to be on lockdown forever. But as good as you are on that phone of yours, that device of yours, you've got to make a personal interaction with someone. So even if you're going up and doing work for no charge at all in certain fields, or just meeting people and showing your willingness to work hard and become known as a trustworthy person, your device can't tell people that about you. But what people do know is word of mouth and actually knowing you as a person. So you can do all you want with marketing, but you've got to bring a personal touch to that. Otherwise, it's, you know, you're just like everyone else on Instagram. You know, you've got to separate yourself in some way. You've got to really work hard on those interpersonal skills and your attitude and things like that.
Awesome. That's so true. It's so true. Definitely. Hein, what did you want to add?
No, I just wanted to say, for the people out there, the students that's interested in our brand and in our cameras, you know, our cameras, I always say you don't get a bad camera out there anymore. I mean, all the brands these days brings out fantastic mirrorless cameras. Even your cell phones, you can create really good photographs and videos. But, you know, the difference comes in with your lenses. Your lenses put you in a different category as a photographer. And that's where Fujifilm is very, very strong, is in our lenses. So what you pay for and what you get is definitely the best deal out there. Our lenses is half the price and half the size from our competitors, because we are not full frame. And you can honestly go and watch, go and have a look at John's videos on the APC versus full frame the video. It's really, really good and very good information there. And yeah, I would love to see some of the students contacting me on my WhatsApp. I've found that photograph. If I see if I can share it and show it. Otherwise, I'll just send it to you, Mark.
Yes.
With all the details of our showroom and my details as well. So they're welcome to contact me, WhatsApp me. I can give them a test on the camera, give them all the information. And there's no better way to have the camera in your hand to go and shoot. That's where you fall in love with the system.
Fantastic. Okay, so John, have you got any last parting thoughts for us, for the students? Any last advice?
Sure. I think, yeah, I mean, I know I can remember clearly back to when I was, I mean, I'm not presuming everyone's young as students, because there are people who might have come back in their later years to study. But if I'm presuming majority of you are quite young, I remember what it was like, and part of your life is having fun and not taking things too seriously. So I don't want to say that you've got to change that, because I never took it seriously and I've managed to make a career out of photography. So it is a balance. So it's easy for me to say do all these things, but you're still young. So it's not an easy thing to kind of comment on. But yeah, what the position you're in now and what you're learning now from these great lecturers and photography. And remember, photography is just not now. Photography is the history of photography. We are beneficiaries of hundreds of years of this amazing art form. So you're in an incredibly privileged position. Use it. Use every minute you can to learn as much as possible. Fit in the odd party. Don't drink too much. But yeah, do what you can in this time, because time is the most valuable thing we have. It's not money. It's not anything else. It's just use your time properly. And then, yeah, again, just work on the interpersonal skills and that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, John. It's been so great having you on board. Like I said earlier on, it was great when we first saw you last year when you were launching the medium format camera at Cine Photo Hire. Gareth, my colleagues, and I were so impressed with your work. We were excited to get you on board. We got you here now like this. For all the students, I just want to extend an invitation to you after lockdown to come to the Academy and meet us all with social distancing in place.
With the masks.
The invitation is obviously to you too, Hein. I'd love to have you both at our institution. And
Watch out, Hein, he's a beggar.
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to be sharing all the links. I'm going to share your John Armstrong YouTube channel. Hein, I will go on and find some of those links in terms of where they can find you in your office when we're after the lockdown.
Thank you very much, guys, for joining us and listening to us.
Awesome. Excellent. So everyone, thank you. I want to give an online applause to Hein and John. Thank you so much. And
Thank you, guys.
Gareth and the team, thank you and Frank, Rudy, thank you for supporting us and getting these conversations to the students. John, I hope you have a great day. Don't work too late tonight. Spend some time with your daughters and wife. Hein, all the best to your family. We're going to be logging off now. Thank you very much. Cheers.
Cool. Thank you, guys. Thank you.